What If? Season 2, Episode 1. Not bad. Not bad at all. This one takes a close look at Xandar and the basically the Green Lanterns of the Marvel Universe, the cosmic cops called the Nova Corps. Eventually, they're going to introduce Nova, the actual character. But I like this. I like this a lot. In this episode, the first episode, Nebula ends up on the planet, and she's basically a detective. She's part of the Nova Corps, and they did this episode so well, and I'll bet it's going to be received so well that other people will say this as well. But they did this episode so well that I think that they could do a Nova Corps series where you took one. It doesn't even have to be the superhero Nova from Earth or one of the superpowered Nova Corps. With her, she was a Nova. She was part of the Nova Corps, and she was like a detective. But she's a detective. She's an alien detective on another planet, and it was really, really good. The things she got into, the intrigue. She was meeting characters that we had met in previous movies, and it was a mystery. Something was going on that she had to figure out because something else was happening. Ronan attacked the planet, and they circled it in a dome that would protect the planet, but no one on the planet could leave. I used to live in Hawaii. I was on the island, and I got what was called island disease. I couldn't stand only being able to just make that one circle. If you start your car in one spot and you drive around Oahu, drive around the whole thing, it takes about an hour, a little over an hour, and then you can do a complete circle around the whole island. So being there for years, it doesn't take long to just see everything. And then you're surrounded, by the ocean. You can't leave. You can't see anything else unless you take a boat or a plane and go to another island or back to the mainland or wherever. So it became stifling. It became, I was like claustrophobic on an island. I say that to say this. This is what the people are feeling. They're used to being able to come and go and leave the planet as they choose. But being stuck on a planet, even though it was protecting them, being stuck there with Ronan just floating around, waiting for the opportunity to give somebody that work. He was out there. So they had to stay in the dome. And over a course of months or years, they started to, get island sickness. They didn't want to be there. They wanted to be able to get up and get out, and they couldn't. So this essential paradise type of world started to degrade into a Gotham City type world where people were robbing each other, and there was crime, they were finding dead bodies, and it had gotten to the point where one of the Nova Corps commanders finds a dead body of a person that we would know, and he just goes, sooner or later, it's bound to happen. And that was it. Wrap the body up, clean the area, you got 1 hour. And Nebula's like, that's it? You're not going to investigate this? Guys like, nah. They had seen so many people die that he didn't really care. And, of course, it was part of the mystery anyway. But she was accustomed to him just basically leaving bodies in the street because that's the world they lived in now. The people did not like, they used to love the Nova Corps. Now they don't like the Nova Corps because they think that they're the ones You're doing this to us. You're keeping us trapped on this planet. So nobody's really digging the Nova Corps. But she's got a mystery. The Nova Prime says, look, you need to figure out what's going on ASAP. There's a mystery brewing. So she's given a lot of latitude where she can go out and do investigating. So she's questioning people. She's doing this and she's doing that. It was very interesting. It was very interesting. And Nebula as a detective was a twist on a character. A twist that I enjoyed. Nova Corps, I said they're like the Green Lanterns because the Green Lanterns in DC are the police of the universe. The Nova Corps are the police of the universe in Marvel. And I was like, wow, they go to planets and they fight people, punch people in the face, they shoot down spaceships, but you don't really get the whole, they're police officers, they're detectives, they're solving crime. You don't get that. You just get, they're more like a military force than a police force. And in this movie, they took the enormity of the story and they crunched it down to one person, one mystery, and that was it. They stayed focused on that. For me, that's the main difference between Marvel and DC. DC has what's called OP characters, overly powerful. Superman. One week in the comics, he punches a criminal in the face. The next week in the comics, he punches a planet and the planet blows up. I was like, that's crazy. How come that dude didn't blow up? Even if he just punched him just a little bit, seems like he would have blown up too. He didn't. They had, Batman is the smartest detective. Superman is the most powerful character. Aquaman is the king of the ocean. And then you go to Marvel. Their characters are flawed. In the comic books, Iron Man had a drinking problem. Captain America couldn't relate to most of the people in this era. Spider-Man was a nerd and got picked on in school and college. And they all had problems. But the story was intriguing. This story was intriguing. The story pulls you in almost like from the very moment it starts. And I was like, huh. And when I sat down to watch it, I had a little sandwich and a drink. When it was over, I realized, though I had taken a sip or two of my drink, I hadn't even touched the sandwich. I was just standing there looking at the screen, sitting there, watching it. It was intriguing. It was a great story. And I would love to see more Nova Corps stories if they do it like this. Just pick some rando Nova Corps guy and follow his adventures, his mysteries, climbing up the ranks, weeding out different things. He could be in the background when more powerful people show up. He can be on crowd control or something and not get involved. Just a story of a guy. If they kept it small like this and wrote it the same way, I think it would be a really good story. But this was a good story. Nebula gets a scent of a crime that's inside of another crime. And she wants to track it down. So Nova Prime tells her, yeah, man, go ahead, do your thing. And she does. And it turns out that there are some people that she thought were good that are bad. There are some people that are helping her that she didn't think they would help. They've got Meek, they've got Korg, and they've got Groot. And they in the movie, because Korg is made of rocks, and because Meek uses knives, and because Groot is a tree, they call them collectively rock, paper, scissors. And I thought that was ingenious. That's what I mean. The writing in Marvel is great. They don't say, how can we make this person more powerful? They say, how can we make this story more intriguing? Rock, paper, scissors. That's great. I never thought of that. But, that's what they are. So collectively, they're called rock, paper, scissors. And I thought that was pretty cool, man. It's a great start. They're going to do one episode every day. So as you're watching this, there's a new episode on, and I'm probably either watching it or at the computer typing and getting ready to make a script, or I'm editing a video or something. It's going to be every day. So I imagine that I'm going to drop one of these every day, maybe two, because if the next ones are as good as this one, I may have more stuff to talk about. I really don't want to give anything away, but I want to say so much about this episode, but I don't want any heavy spoilers. So I'm not, but I'm going to say it was good. In fact, this episode with Nebula, what if Nebula had joined the Nova Corps, was so good that I give this episode 8 bags of popcorn. 8 bags of popcorn, man. Because that's what I think about that. More importantly, what do you think about that? Not just seeing the video, let's talk about it some more in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Popcorn Passport.